ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The college basketball season is hitting its stretch run, and Oklahoma junior guard Buddy Hield is already being asked whether or not he'll be declaring for the upcoming NBA draft.
I don't know yet, but if I come down to one of those decisions, I talk to my coaches and everybody, and they help me out with that.
It's going to be tough. He's going to be an undersized shooting guard in the NBA. I think he'll be a late first rounder to early second round pick, and it's going to have to be his intangibles. It's going to have to be his work ethic. It's going to have to be his winning spirit, his fight, his attitude and effort that gets him there. You got to be pretty good to be in the NBA. There's a lot of all-stars that come off the bench now, so I think he's got a difficult task to make a team. But I think if he makes a team, he can stick, and he's got the character qualities that it takes to stick. Let's just hope that his mama keeps praying for him and the rest of the Bahamas keeps lifting him up in prayer, and that he stays focused. You get a little bit of money in the bank, and sometimes you can lose focus. I don't think that's Buddy. I think he will stay focused on what's important, and I really do think he's a good enough player that he'll make it stick if he gets there.
Now, while the NBA draft is still a couple of months away, March Madness is already upon us, and tonight Charles Fisher tells us that Buddy's focus is geared towards the NCAA Tournament.
Coming off a semi-final loss in the Big 12 tournament to eventual champs Iowa State, number 3 seed Oklahoma Sooners and Buddy Hield tip-off play Friday versus number 14 Albany. The Big 12 Player of the Year, All-Conference First-Teamer, Academic First-Teamer, and Wooden Award finalist knows that NC's is a tough ball.
We got to win some games in the NCAA tournament to stay alive, our goals to get to the Final Four, and I feel like the team's capable of doing it, and our luck and our chances are good in the NCAA tournament. We got some good teams that we can be able to beat and get after it.
There's no taking chances. One loss and you're out. Season over.
And nobody want to go home, so it's going to be tougher calls. You're not going to look at calls you get from the ref, and just to give you more, you got to be more, like this tournament, bring your team together, you got to be able to come together as a group and be able to focus and execute down and play in the stretch.
Bahamian Lou Rawls net and number 7 Michigan State also in the East region, and the two could possibly hook up. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
Now, Buddy and Lou Rawls are not the only Bahamians in the tournament. Tristan Curtis and Coastal Carolina are seeded 16th in the West, and they will open play on Friday against top-seeded Wisconsin. As for Dwight Colby and Ole Miss, they will have to play their way into the field of 64. They play their first 4 game tomorrow night against BYU. The winner there will also play out of the West bracket in the second round matchup against Xavier. Now, the selection show for the women's tournament that took place just a while ago. Jonquel Jones and George Washington, they are seeded 6th in the Spokane region, and they will take on 11th seeded Gonzaga in the first round on Friday. Back here at home, the Bahamas Swimming Federation held its Carifta trials over the weekend at the Betty Kelly Kenning National Aquatic Center. Our Kelsey Johnson caught up with President Algernon Cargill to get some feedback.
The technical committee in the Bahamas Swimming Federation had to make some tough decisions this weekend after more than 36 swimmers dipped under the qualifying times set to make the Carifta team.
This is why we rely on the strength of our technical committee, the coaches of the Federation, to look at the best times of the swimmers during the qualifying period. And they also look at the swimmers' fitness based on their recent performances. And yes, there will always be disappointed swimmers when we do not name swimmers to the team who may have made the qualifying standard. But swimming, unlike other sports, we have a limitation in that we have a strict number of 36, and also we can take no more than 8 swimmers per age group. And there are 6 age groups.
The time trials held at the Betty Kenning Kelly Aquatic Center were for all upcoming meets, inclusive of the Carifta Swimming Championships as well as the upcoming World Championships and the Pan American Games. Swimmers who were not named to the Carifta squad can still make the other teams.
It's always a difficult process to advise swimmers who have not made a team, who may have met a qualifying standard. But we have very rigid rules in place. Our rules are that we select the first 2 place finishers in any event. Also, we require any swimmer to be considered on the team to have at least 2 first or second place finishes. And that's essentially because of the limitation on the size of the team. So what I would say to the swimmers who have met the standards or partially met the standards who have not been named to the team, we ask you to look at the team, look at the strength of the team. look at the athletes who've been named and look at how they may have been named to the team over you, and what do you learn from that experience? Obviously, these athletes, like the ones who may not have been named, have all been working very hard. But the focus really is on to celebrate the successes of the athletes named, and also to encourage the ones not named to continue training, because once they continue to train and do well, they will also be eligible for team selection, because there are more meets that we will be attending this year as well as next year. We had a swimmer last year who was not named to the Cariffa team, for example. 2 swimmers actually, and they came back this year as the #1 qualifiers overall. So they used that opportunity as a chance to learn from that experience, as well as to strengthen their performances, so that whenever there's team selection that's happening again, that they will ensure that they have solidified a spot on the team.
The technical committee took a closer look into the various age groups, focusing on the strengths of each individual swimmer as the Bahamas aims for a 2nd straight victory.
We spent about 5 hours yesterday going through a very rigorous process in deciding which of the 36 athletes would enable us to defend our title in Barbados. And our focus is really on winning.
The meet will take place in Bridgetown, Barbados, April 2nd through the 8th. The Bahamas will also compete in the open water swim. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Total Sports.
Now, in addition to the Cariffa trials, the Bahamas Swimming Federation also hosted a few special guests in town over the weekend, and that included world record holder Ryan Lochte, who took the time out to put on a special clinic for some of our junior swimmers.
It's one of the things that I love about this sport is giving back. And I never thought when I was a little kid that swimming would take me this far, where there's younger kids that look up to us, and I love it. I love it so much. Just seeing their faces looking at us, they're like, oh my God, they think that we're heroes, but all we do is swim up and down a pool. It's awesome just to see their faces, their smiles. I think that's why I love this sport so much, is just giving back and just seeing their faces so happy.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.